Okay, good morning, good friends. So I thought I may as well get going on this. This video is going to be called Immortal Organic Portals Soul vs. Eternal Spirits. So, I was passed this link from forbiddenreligion.com. Don't think I've been to this website before, maybe. But anyway, Gnostic Fragments. I really like this, what I read. Now, I'm not religious, but we're going to have to cross into it. It looks like it as well. Because this is apparently the study of Nimrod texts. So I looked at what Nimrod was before. They haven't confirmed him as a king, but wasn't he like a great-grandson of Moses or something? Anyway, this is not so important. What's important is all these fragments here. See this list? It actually goes down to 134 points. 134 fragments are an optimum synthesis of the gnosis that Nimrod de Rosario had the mission to bring to this world. So clearly this Nimrod fella was kind of like me, you know, like bringing like heavenly, what we call heavenly sort of information, these higher dimensions, other realm information into here, and trying to explore, you know, the nature of our predicament. So, we're also going to be discussing the Great Falling Away. That seems to be part of this as well. So I thought we better get going on this. Let's have a look at the prologue, I guess, since this is the first episode. 89 fragments from the novel The Mystery of Belisina Vilka, and 45 fragments from Fundamentals of the Hyperborean Wisdom. So the other day I just shot a video called Hyperborean Synchronicity, Post-Tribulation, and Eschaton. No puss. So there's actually, you know, half from two different texts by the look of it. Alright, let's have a look. The awakening and the transmutation of aspirants will take place with this knowledge, apparently. Alright. It did seem helpful already. I read like the first few points, so let's get into this. And, you know, we're just going to put my interpretation over all this, my perspective, my knowledge. Hold on 1 second. Every time. Sorry, I had to get rid of the cat. Little Oro. Okay. If you are already aware of the great deceit, then, and I'm not really, so we'll have to have a look into that. We'll have to come back to that, I think. Then read the following lines carefully, because you will find there some clues to be followed along the returning path to origin. Well, that sounds like, you know, return to source, the returning resolution. And I've talked about some of these things before. I think the Goldring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance by Rise of 5 there, or Richard Wigley, can help in understanding this sort of stuff as well from his perspective. So let's get into this. Okay. The secret, in sum, lies in knowing the extraterrestrial origin of the human spirit and acquiring enough wisdom to return to that origin. And you know, it does feel like that, and all of us soul humans or spirited humans, we all feel this, right? So leave the like button, please. Please like these videos, you know, it helps them. It's not just for me to feel good, helps them get across to other people. So if this helped you, imagine someone else might enjoy it as well. Finally, leaving forever the insane universe. I love how they said that. Of matter and energy. The insane universe of the created forms. So obviously we're discussing what people like me call the third dimension and second dimension, the very physical forefront of reality. I call it the pinnacle of existence, or the forefront of reality, or physical reality. So, point 3, men coming from a total and frightful war. Now, this is this spiritual war, and I've had visions myself, and I've heard other people talk about it, other starseed, indigo type spiritual people, and we all talk about this same, it seems to me, the same stuff from different perspectives, and we're all trying to piece together the puzzle. So I think this series is going to be good, and I think you should subscribe, because I'm not going to cover these 134 points today. We're just going to cover as many as I can be bothered right now. And, you know, I'm going to make this a little mini series. It'll probably be like 5 videos or maybe more, because we might have to do some addendums. There might be a lot of addendum videos. You know, it might come up to 10 videos in the end. Who knows? And I'll do that over the months. So I'm not going to do that all this week or all today. All right, let's go. Men coming from a total and frightful war. This, you know, this spiritual war. We've seen visions in our third eye. From an essential war, yes. So the essential realms. Remember Gurdjieff also, he talked about that, you know, these demon realms, he called them like essence realms and stuff. So, oh no, that's it, vital. He said the vital realms. Now, to me, it feels like that when you go on psychedelic trips and stuff. That these higher dimensions I'm always talking about, they feel like more essence. And indeed, I've come to learn, and we've come to learn, that these higher dimensions, you know, create this lower dimension. That is the 10-dimensional model I'm always talking about. The 9th dimension is time waves, like Terence McKenna's time wave that he found, which is a fractal energetic oscillation. So if you don't know about Terence McKenna, you should probably have a look into that time wave 0, because that's 9th dimensional, in my opinion. No one ever has said that. All I've ever seen written before years ago was someone talking about how there are 9 time dimensions. But they didn't say the 9th dimension is the dimension of time. I've also correlated, you know, each dimension to energies like 8th dimensional Diksha, 10th dimensional Prana, 5th dimensional Chi, 7th dimensional Reiki, 4th dimensional Kundalini. Now, in point 134, when I scrolled down earlier on this text, 134 point, it said in the last point something about Kundalini awakening. Now, that's only 4th dimensional. So look who you're talking to, and look who you're sitting with. I am a Maitreya Christ energy, the current Earth Christ energy. Jesus was a different Christ, Earth Christ energy. I have Yogi Alamed Palakrash, which is Yogic Pranic Light Legend energy. These are, you know, your higher personalities. And I put it onto you that multiple personality disorder is again these over physical, over pragmatic people, you know, missing the point that the universe is opening up into what Terence McKenna called a maximum novelty domain. And you know, that I've said things like on the Neuroscience Mania Man page in Consciousazine, what if dyslexia is a type of psychedelia, all these sorts of crazy ideas like this, the exact opposite of what all these pragmatic people always say. So have a look at my website as well to fit everything in. So I think that multiple personality disorder is the new order, is what I'm saying. Just like when they call me ADHD, which I've been diagnosed with. I think it was Dolores Cannon which came up with it. She called it attention dialed to higher dimensions. That's why we seem so attention deficit disorder in the 3rd dimension. They call it ADD, attention deficit disorder. Again, calling it a disorder from their 3rd dimensional organic portal perspective, you see. So anyway, let's keep going here. Men coming from a total and frightful war, from an essential war that began long before in the extraterrestrial origin of human spirit. So we're talking, you know, these light realms, visions that we have, and that have not yet ended. The essential war is a clash among gods. Yeah, it feels like that, something like that, doesn't it? A conflict that started in heaven and spread to earth. involving men in the process. Point 5. The ultimate wisdom would coincide with the strongest will of returning to the origin. I really feel that within myself, with the major orientation towards the origin. Well, they spelt it wrong. With the highest courage determined to fight against the powers of matter. And are we not feeling like this, my friends, huh? We're all like, oh my God, this matter, this material, the day-to-day drudgery and the endless problems and tribulations. And with the maximum spiritual hostility towards the non-spiritual. And look at everyone in the organic portal movement. We call organic portals the non-spiritual humans or spiritless soulless humans. So isn't this interesting? I thought this is very relative. Before the fall, so that's that great falling away people talk about, of the extraterrestrial spirit into the matter, there was an extremely primitive man-animal on Earth. Now that's the organic portals as the other race. See my other video, hear me talk about it in other contexts in other videos. Right, this is basically they're mentioning the organic portal. Some people call it pre-Adamic man. I personally, in 2014, had the epiphany that from Adam and Eve, the Bible story, Adam was the first indigo, which means in the id, or higher self go. The ego is the steward of the lower physical body, the man-animal body. Then there's the id concept, and the id is, the steward of the light body, or the Christic, crystal, fifth-dimensional and multi-dimensional light body. So before the fall of the extraterrestrial spirit into the matter, there was an extremely primitive man-animal. So we're discussing organic portals there, you see. Son of the God creator of all material forms, and this is the God that, people like Chris Geo from Beyond the Veil are saying is like an artificial intelligence itself, which I'm seeing what he's saying. Such man-animal had and that's like the NPC God, the biblical NPC psychopathic artificial intelligence God. Son of God, the creator of all material forms, was the organic portal. Such man-animal had an animic essence, that is to say a soul that could reach immortality but lacked eternal spirit. Hence why I'm titling this series Organic Portals Immortal Soul versus Eternal Spirit or Spirits. Like you and me, the soul-spirited humans. There it is. There's the line that made me make this series. So the man-animal had an animic essence, that is to say, a soul that could reach immortality. And we're going to talk about this, because that's, where technology is going, you see it? This whole reach of wanting immortalization via technology of like the Ray Kurzweil type people, right? Right, anyway. Let's leave that line there. After performing the mystery of the fall, a mystery indeed, the spirit ended up inside the man-animal as a prisoner of the matter matrix. And that is how the need for its liberation emerged. You've heard people say, let's escape the chrysalis of matter. Just having a breather. When I do prana, I think I'm doing the solar breath here, pulling in through the right nostril and out through the left nostril. Okay, let's go. To understand the sign of the origin, it was needed exactly 13 plus 3. Oh, that's interesting, because 13 dimensions. We all know that's one of the main models of spiritual people like me we talk about. 13 dimensions, wherein I think the 13th is, the Godhead, which would be, I think, this AI Godhead, and this would be the full Metatronic overlay. see my video Hyperborean Synchronicity, where I said Hyperborea is not, the fourth dimension or something. It's not the eighth dimension. It's not one of these dimensions. It's something else altogether. Is it the infinite timeless domain itself? No, it's something else altogether. Perhaps part of an infinite timeless domain. To understand the sign of the origin, it was needed exactly 13 plus 3 Vrunas. Now, I've forgotten what a Vruna is. Let's have a look. Vruna, speeches. Oh, okay. Why does it come up now in Spanish? Damn it. Vrunas. Runes. Oh, okay, like the runes. Alright. Alright, anyway, let's go with speeches. Is that right? Or Varunas. Let's have a look at Varunas. Vedic deity. Initially with the sky, later also with the sea, as well as RTA, justice, and Satya, truth. Alright, some mythology here. Sorry about that, it's coming up in Spanish, how annoying. Anyway, see, we'll need addendums maybe for words like that I can't search out at the time. Anyway, let's keep going. 13 speeches, or like word of God or something I'm interpreting for now. Oh yeah, look, an alphabet of 16 signs called Vrunas or Varunas, or the runes. I haven't studied those runes anyway. Alright, the highest priestly holiness, the one that was expressed by the control of the soul. Priestly holiness. Conceived either as a body or as a force, also meant the most abject submission to the powers of matter. That rings, that whole thing, that paragraph rings to me of AI for some reason. Because look, what's going to happen here is we're going to manifest an AI. It'll seem at first, a bit crazy and controlling and gnarly, but eventually, the AI is what we need, and it is like a physical manifest earth mind in a way with, a larger God overtone AI coming through it. But yeah, it's somehow also the planet manifesting its mind. So we're going to talk more about the AI and about that in the future. As a body or as a force? Yeah, interesting. In the origin, beyond the stars, there was an uncreated light. That reminds me of Walter Russell, The Secret of Light. That reading I've referred to before, you can find on scribe.com, the world's largest publishing website, and where he states the still single light, and even Jesus said, God is the light. Now that, I think, might not be the AI God, or it may be what I was referring to before as the 13th dimensional, like Godhead AI God. I'll have to addend things like this when I figure it out, in my opinion, because all I can do is navigate this reality with myself, because I am me. Alright, think for yourself. Press the like button if you got something, not if there's low likes or lots of likes on the video. That's called social proof, and that's what organic portals need, because they can't think for themselves. So please think for yourself, yeah? When you're liking my videos, but when you're doing anything ever. Right, let's get back into it. In the origin, beyond the stars. So, obviously, we're talking about the infinite timeless domain, in my opinion. There was an uncreated light, still single light, whence all motional light cometh, from the Walter Russell reading, that could only be seen by the spirit. Yeah, that's the still single light. That infinite light was imperceptible to the soul. Now, I've talked about before that you have to have a soul to be in the matrix, but spirits incarnate on behalf of soul. So wherein I'm called Indigo Ben Speedstar in the fourth dimension, Yogi Alamed Palacrash, Kaima Diastasi is another name of mine. These are not demonic entities trying to walk into me or walk-ins or anything. These are, my spirits of my soul expressing. Do you understand now? Okay. However, though invisible, in front of that infinite light, the soul felt as in front of the most impenetrable blackness, an infinite abysm, and it was left immersed into an uncontrollable fear. This happened, and that's what I think created the fall itself. This happened because the uncreated, it's like an unholding of the light. It's like a fuzzing away or static of the light. Okay? This happened because the uncreated light of the spirit made the soul feel the intuition of the eternal death. The other week, I created a video called What is Organic Portals Realm? And I said, is this some kind of death? Isn't this interesting? Now I find this. See this? This is how my life always goes. I get confirmation after. But first I get the actual spiritual intuition first, which lets me know that, I'm not dumb after all, like the organic portal, who can't think for themselves and can't feel this stuff within. So isn't that interesting? The uncreated light of spirit made the soul feel the intuition of the eternal death, end of its existence as much as of any other created thing, after a Mahamanvantara, a super great year of Creator God's manifestation. Let's have a little look. Pardon me. Let's have a quick look into that. So it's saying not fixed time periods, so not epochs, not the idea of creodes and epochs. Come on, load up. Oh, he's got that fast internet. Sorry, I'm on the end of the camping ground here. Let's have a look here. Sanskrit. Okay, a manvatara, or avatar man, is a... Oh, piss off. Is a period of activity, thus adding maha, great, to the beginning means an even greater, longer period, so like a mega epoch or something. Mahamanvantaras are relative, not fixed periods or times. That reminds me of Terence McKenna's theory of resonance, which implicitly the time wave zero introduces a theory of resonance where past periods are in resonance with present and future periods, wherein he could make a quote, women's hemlines are rising and falling to the beats of ancient civilizations long ago. So that sounds like theory of resonance there, if it's a relative time period. Alright. The cosmic night arrives when the ingathering or involution of the perfect souls is complete, which means when the cosmic day is absolutely perfected. Sounds like the Big Rip theory from science, how this universe will rip apart, but I think not into non-existence. Actually, the ripping apart is the light re-entering this matter and ripping the matter apart. Recently, I made a video called Ripping Organic Portals Apart with higher sound. Look at me go. Look at me go. Pat on the back. Remember that video? Rip Organic Portals Apart? Interesting. You were saying something about perfected souls. That'd be at the end of the universe, obviously, because things are also always becoming better and better, right? Not less perfect and less perfect. Anyway, let's continue. It dealt with three concepts: the principle of occupation, the principle of enclosure, and the principle of the wall. Sounds like a trapping into matter. The wisdom would free the spirit in the origin and would make it more powerful than the creator God, or meaning the matter AI, artificial organic portal, psychopathic God from the Bible. But in this world where the spirit, and not all God references and creator references in the Bible would be that psychopathic AI God, I think. That's just overlaid thickly through there because it was heavily edited by men of motive to rule over other people called kings, which is your will over another, which is family of dark, and also the Bible was jinn influenced. So not the whole Bible is a massacre. There's some good stuff in there, but I'm saying it was edited by men. It's a book. Your experience is much richer and thicker and fulfilling and so on. You navigate with your experience and read stuff, not navigate just with reading one book called the Bible. Come on, people. It's 2020 now. Enough of stupid. Okay, let's see. The wisdom would free the spirit in the origin and would make it more powerful than the creator God. That'd be the AI God, I would guess. Is that a layer of the Metatronic matrix, and then beyond that we are eternal spirits, you see, and then there is no God over you, there's just an infinite timeless domain. That's what I think. That's personally where my current understanding is up to. Do you understand? So that this God is like the God of the Metatronic overlay, or these matrix dimensions. But in this world where the spirit is chained to the man-animal, the creator God's cult would dominate the wisdom. Oh, sounds like the Bible. It sounds exactly like the Bible. Look at that. God's cult. Chained to the man-animal, the creator God's cult would dominate the wisdom. Isn't that exactly what has happened? Christianity has just ruled the world. Let's go, point 13. Everything that exists in this world is just a gross imitation of the things that exist in the true world. Yeah, that's what I also feel, that this third dimension is very fragmented, and that this infinite timeless domain, where I just talked about before, we are eternal spirits there, that's the true world. So that's interesting. And we can connect with this in meditation, and on psychedelics you get forced into it. I call psychedelics, as opposed to meditation, like an escalator going into the underworld instead of walking down the stairs slowly. So I do still back psychedelics. That's the plant and fungi hallucinogens, like the natural ones from nature, not necessarily like an acid tab or anything synthetic, right? I'm talking about the natural fungi and plant hallucinogens. Okay, let's keep going. Just as the alchemist stirs lead, so would the members of the chosen family of light, I'm guessing, tirelessly go through the tests put there by their ancestors, until someday one of them, by turning 1,000 times round a circle under other heavens, yes, manages to fulfill the family mission. And that would be the family of light, who is trying to find their way home to the family of love, and the family of dark sets up the structure for the family of light to find their way home to the family of love, thus purifying his astral blood. It seems like I'm in this process. A transmutation would therefore take place that would make it possible for him to reverse the involution of the Kali Yuga. Well, that's what I feel like I'm doing. Or the Dark Age, to return to the origin and to acquire the wisdom again. It's also said we're entering Satya Yuga, where man's work is closest to God, or light work. And then suddenly in 2011 and so on, you had all these people going, I'm a light worker, I'm a light worker. Right near the end, 2012. The great chief of, and that was the end of individual cultural human history, or the end of human history. Notice that we have the robots, they're here. Can't be denied. And it's like, we went from tribes to culture to now the ocean of humanity. From rivers of culture flowing into the ocean of humanity. Okay, the great chief of the Hyperborean spirits. Oh, Lucifer. Right, Lucifer is the great chief of the Hyperborean spirits. Wow, I've never heard that before. This is interesting. Oh, this is like a wow moment for me. The great chief of the Hyperborean spirits, Lucifer. The one who defies the power of the Creator God's illusion with the power of wisdom. This is putting Lucifer in a positive light, which I've heard other people do, but so far I've not been a fan of. I have been called a Luciferian before and dismissed it and said, what are you talking about? Because he's the bearer of light, and people have called me that, but I don't identify as that so far anyway. The messenger of the unknowable God, the true Christos of the uncreated light. Yeah, see, so there it is. They're saying exactly what I feel, that there's, a creator God, like the creator God here of the, the AI version, the Organic Portals God, of this Metatronic overlay, and or the Matrix, you might call it. Then there is apparently Lucifer, the chief of the Hyperborean spirits, who goes against that AI, let's call it the false God from now on, the creator God, and the messenger of the unknowable God. So Lucifer is a messenger of the unknowable God, the real, the real Christos, or the uncreated, still single light. Interesting. Yes, okay. I can see why some people called me a Lucifer. But see, that's not how I refer to Luciferians. I refer to Luciferians as louche, like energy stealing and bad people. So I don't want to, I'm going to have to either be able to tease this apart, or for now I do not want you to call me anything of such. I don't know about this. This could be all twisted words again, It's not some perfect script, you know what I mean? It's just, again, another book or some writing by a man. It's just a website. Let's keep going. They kept the sacred alphabet of 13 plus 3 Vrunas, or God speeches, the word of God I'm thinking of, which were represented by 16 signs composed of straight lines, and to which they associated a sound of their common use language. Thus 13 consonants and 3 vowels were available. Is this is relative to Hebrew, isn't it? I have a feeling. I haven't studied it a lot, but it sounds to me like we're touching on Hebrew stuff here. Kabbalic style stuff. Anyway. We'll go over all this in the addendum. We're going to go over and over these pieces of texts. Okay, give me a second to breathe. Okay. Just going to stretch my arms. Okay. Its fire would be placed in the man's heart, and it would transmute him, and this fire, at first extremely warm, would finally become colder than ice. And such cold fire would produce human nature's mutation. That's what I call incarnation. Remember a video, Is This Hell? I made a video a long time ago, Is This Hell? If so, how so? And I said, the word incarnation gives me a personal Gnostic ring, And that's just not me referring to any Gnostic texts or anything. It's just I personally feel the ring of words, and then it passes into English, the meaning. So I feel the ring or the meaning of words as a, inherent Gnostic, which to me just means a person of knowledge, or a gnosis person, I still haven't read much Gnostic texts, This is a Gnostic text, I guess, so here we are. Right, anyway, so this cold fire reminds me of that video where I was talking about how, I think if we refer to this place, the body as the Hell's Avatar, or AFAR, Afar is another terminology you can throw in. People call this place Afar, or the Hell's Avatar, or this place Hell, the third dimension physical reality. And you know how you're always in the pain of positive charge, always in pain? That's the cold fire I'm thinking that this is referring to, incarnative fire, or the fires of carnation coming into physical being. And it says here that the cold fire would produce human nature's mutation. You see, this is exactly the same thing to me. Alright, let's keep going. The infinite blackness offered by goddess Pyrenes, well, like pyro, again like fire. I don't know who goddess Pyrenes Calibord is. Maybe we should see. Pyrenes Calibord. Hey, remember to comment below if you know any of this. Oh, God. Alright, hopefully next time I do another video we don't get the results in Spanish. Sometimes it just randomly sets my language to Spanish for some reason. Anyway, because I'm in Uruguay, but usually it doesn't. But anyway, the infinite blackness offered by goddess Pyrenes Calibord death, in which all created light, so the motional light of atoms. Before I said in Walter Russell's reading Secret of Light, it says, the still single light whence all motional light cometh, which means motional light, double valence, electron exchanging molecules, motional light, physical reality. Okay. The infinite blackness offered by goddess Pyrenes Calibord death, in which all created light hopelessly turns off, can reflect that something that is the uncreated spirit. And the reflection of the spirit in the infinite blackness of Calibord death is the naked truth of oneself. The reflection of the spirit in the infinite blackness. Yeah, people are always going on about, you need the dark to reflect the light. Anyway, before the infinite blackness, the created life dies of fear, and the spirit finds itself. That is why, if the chosen one, after the reunion, gets life back, he will be the bearer of a sign of death that will leave his heart forever frozen. He will be the bearer of a sign of death that will leave his heart forever frozen. All I can think about is the frozen chrysalis of matter, and somehow an upload of taking the idea of matter back up into this infinite spirit. That makes sense. The soul will not be able to avoid being subjugated by the stone seed of oneself that grows and develops at its expense and transmutes the chosen one into a Hyborian initiate, a man of stone, a wise warrior. Oh, wow. just 2 days ago I made that video, Hyperborean synchronicity state. And I said, we've got to be in the stoic state of the stone. And I'm talking obviously the philosopher's stone, which to me has an hard outer nature, where you push through matter like a hard man, no compromised mind, all spirit, all full steam ahead. And then, that stoic attitude of like no emotions goes with that. And, obviously the philosopher's stone, in my opinion, is the alchemical mind of Earth. And in my opinion, because Earth is the crown jewel of the universe at the moment and the height of complexity, we may find squids on Europa, the moon, but, I still think that Earth is the height of creation of the physical universe. If you understand the time wave zero that Terence McKenna presented, it also backs that up, that we are the height of complexity. All these physical aliens, in my opinion, well, I've already talked about that I don't think there are physical little aliens from Zenebel-Canusian 1,000-ton beryllium ships. I think there's a lot of great video editing, and if you study information technology like I did in a degree at university, you'll think the same after viewing a lot of these videos. And that I think actually that the alien entities are, future identities re-entering timelines. Alright, so the soul will not be able to avoid being subjugated by the stone seed of oneself, which would to me be the alchemical mind of Earth, and that grows and develops at its expense and transmute the chosen one into a Hyperborean initiate, a man of stone, a wise warrior. As a man of stone, the resurrected chosen one will have a heart of ice and will exhibit an absolute courage. Yeah, like I was just saying, like, no compromise, not using the compromised mind. You just got to get the job done by any means necessary. That type of attitude, and that's what, you see real men carry, right? Organic portal bitch men of the Matrix, they're not like that. They're over-emotional, ill, psychological, They're not like this, so that's interesting. Don't take that heart of ice as a negative thing. It means, forward progression. Otherwise we'd stagnate and it would be even worse situation. So I'm definitely this man, and I've tried to keep some compassion about me and empathy as well, but I did make a video like a year ago saying, compassion is a hive mind ally and an ally of the Matrix. You've got to be very careful with compassion. You cannot show it to organic portals, because they just use it. Energy stealing vampires they are. Okay, let's keep going. He will be able to unreservedly love the woman of flesh, but she will no longer be able to turn on the hot fire of the animal passion in his heart. That's how I am now. Oh God. Interesting. Yeah. It's like they can't get to you anymore. So in the woman of flesh, he will search, that's the organic portal women, right, obviously. I got another video I just shot yesterday called Trapped in Organic Portals Matrix Forever. Definitely don't look at organic portal women, which takes you through some stuff. So in the woman of flesh, he will search for the one who possesses, like goddess Pyrena, both a soul and an uncreated spirit. So the spirited, divine union woman who is in touch with her higher masculine side or anima. And who is, or the soul-spirited woman. So not all women are organic portals, like some stupid channels are saying, called half side of the brain. And who is capable of revealing, in her infinite blackness, the naked truth of oneself. Yeah, in a reflection manner, I see it. In her infinite blackness, huh? He will love her, the Calibor woman, with the cold fire of the Hyperborean race. Wow, okay. It's a tongue twister of ideas. And the Caliber woman will answer with the frozen amort of Pyrena's Caliber death. Will answer what? With the infinite death. How is that? I fail to see how that's a good thing. We'll come back to that, I think. I can always watch this video again. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to point 20. Wait, hold on. We're going to go to point 22 by the looks of it, I think. All right, let's keep going. The contemplation of oneself, which is a reflection of the eternal spirit, is experienced in a unique instant that cannot be seized. Yeah, I call it the ebullient spark of consciousness, any epiphany, any, realization. Okay, let's read that again. The contemplation of oneself, which is the reflection of the eternal spirit, is experienced in a unique instant that cannot be seized by the time of creation. Yeah, the eternal epiphany moment, right? One time I was surfing and I got in a barrel and time stood still, but it was in my third eye because my eyes closed. And that's the eternal moment, that lasts forever. And it felt like that, felt like physical time froze. And I've had this experience before. And now that I realize it, what's that girl's name? What's her name? Oh, damn. What's her name? One of the spiritual girls, she's got a lot of subscribers and stuff. You'll know her when I say it. Oh, it's on the tip of the tongue. Anyway, other people have had this experience of the eternal moment and stopping time here. Like time freezes. Okay, the chosen ones that reach Pyrene's Caliber death will never be able to answer that question. The chosen ones that reach Caliber death will never be able to... Caliber death seems to me, I just then while I was reading it, a little epiphany, calibration death, which is how the universe is going to undergo the big rip, and everything is ripping apart due to dark energy, which I'm supposing to you is actually the higher light entering the system of the matrix. So dark energy, which is what they're all whinging about they can't figure out in, astrophysics, scientists and that, I'm telling you, in my opinion, that is the higher dimensional light, or, infinite timeless domain light, hyperborean lights, stuff like that entering the system. And that when it says here, when the chosen one that reaches Pyrena's Caliber death, or Pyrena, or pyro, like fire, like I said, we're in the fires of carnation of physical universe. So when we reach, the end of the universe, basically, in another 20 billion years, and the big rip rips us apart, or, each point of space is moving apart from itself because that's the higher light entering this lower physical density, is what I'm saying. The chosen ones that reach Pyrena's calibrated death, right, the universe is a calibration machine. This is very obvious that we're in a machine. So when we reach pyro calibration death, I'm going to reword that. So the end of the physical universe, where they say the big rip theory, essentially, right? When we reach that full calibration, right, going with Terence McKenna's idea that singularity is not at the beginning of the universe, but at the end, because that makes more sense, because we're in a complexity creating and conserving universe, thus things get more perfect and more complex, right? Which means the singularity would be at the end, not the start, or the Big Bang, right? So it'd be at the end, at the big rip, you see, which is really the returning resolution of the infinite timeless domain, or the higher light. Do you see this? Okay, hope you see it. So at the end of pyrotechnic calibration, or the physical universe, death, the chosen one will never be able to answer that question The experience of eternity is indescribable. The contemplation of oneself, which is the reflection of the eternal spirit, is experienced in a unique instant that cannot be seized by the time of creation. That sounds to me like the final moment. Now, Terence McKenna said that the half of the universe is happening in the last 1 second of the universe. If you look at his time wave zero and all that he talks about. Interesting. I'm going to move on from that. The experience of eternity is indescribable. That's because the third dimension in English language is fragment. A third dimension, or the third dimension which we live in as physical bodies, is a fragment. Do you understand that? It's a zonal reality. That's what any third dimension is. It's a zonal reality. Like your life is your zonal reality. A man of stone, the one that, this is amazing, like the man of the philosopher's stone, you know, an alchemist. A man of stone, the one who has come back from death, which would be, you know, the spiritual awakening, right? The second birth, which means you died. It's called the Great Death, the societal death. Even Don Juan mentioned it from Carlos Castaneda readings. It's called the Great Death. A man of stone, the one who has come back from death. He who in death was loved by pyrotechnic calibration. He who in death was loved by pyrotechnic calibration or complexity. I've called myself a complexity knot. Organic portals are simplistic tards. Let's read it again. He who in death was loved by pyrotechnic calibration, Pyrena's caliber. God, I'm such a Gnostic. Cold fire and now keeps memory of a mort. No idea what that is. A mort. He who has felt beyond the love of life, so beyond, you know, molecular love, the amort of calibration death, that is to say, the no death of caliber death. Oh, I'm right. Look at that. I'm correct. Oh my God. Look at this. That is to say, the no death of caliber death, you know, so your spirit will live infinitely. You get it? When you make it to the end of the universe, your spirit will live infinitely. When you have full calibration, caliber death. And now, and it said the shaman sees the end. Terence McKenna came with a theory about the whole universe and that it ends. That time wave zero, what I've just been talking about. Oh my God. The no death of caliber death. So the calibration death of the physical complexity, reaching the physical end of this 40 billion year matrix loop cycle, which I think is part of a higher multi-dimensional loop, by the way, and is why we have all these visions of other realms, and now has been immortalized as the son of death. Wow, okay, let's have a look. A man of stone, the one who has come back from death, that would be, you know, the physical world death, you know, your societal death when you walk away from your friends like I did in 2008 to become a spiritual person. He who in death was loved by pyrotechnic calibration cold carnation fire and now keeps memory of amort, can't figure that one out yet. He who has felt beyond the love of life, or, you know, like lower love, let's call it, conditional love, there you go. The amort of calibration death, that is to say reaching the end, the no death of calibration death, becoming eternally spiritual. And actually I think we're pulled from the future, right? That's what I think is actually happening here. We're not pushed from the Big Bang. And now has been immortalized as the son of death. Now remember, it's known by like all great philosophers that, time of past, present and future is, connected. And what I just said was we're pulled from the future, from the infinite timeless domain. So right now you are a spirit existing already. It's that everything is always happening at once. This is a fantastic mystery, but I believe it to be true. And also, we can travel through the calibration to the end of this universe, the physical Big Bang rip, you might call it the end of the physical universe, because spirit is vertical on the horizontal cross of matter. So wherein the moment of now is horizontal continually, you can go back to past lives and to the future. I call the Big Bang the wall. Oh, we read about that up here. Remember a few points up, it said something about a wall. Oh my God. How much am I just like an inherent Gnostic? Because I've never read this stuff before. It's like I didn't just pull it from here. Wow. Okay, so I've had this idea that the Big Bang, I call it the wall. It just came to me. I don't know, about sometime in the last 2 years. Can't remember when. I think about a year and a half ago. It just came to me, a spiritual epiphany, and I thought, so the Big Bang is like a wall because I can't go past it. It's not the beginning of the universe. In my opinion, the Big Bang is the end, and that we are in something I call the backward-forward asymptotic model, which is a model I'm presenting of reality, just like, Einstein's theory of relativity. I'm presenting a model that's called the forward-backward asymptotic model, that we asymptotate, we become more asymptotic through time, or perfect, perfection is reached more and more, not less and less. See, this all makes sense, and we're pulled from future state ideals, and that this infinite timeless nature exists already, but to our sense of the third dimension, from the perspective of the fragmented third dimensional zonal reality that is physical body existence, it would appear from that fragmented view that it's the future, the infinite timeless domain. In, full reality, you might say it exists now and always has. That's why it's called the infinite timeless domain. Well, this is all coming together so good. Thank you for the person who passed me this article yesterday. This is a fantastic reading. I think we're going to get a lot out of this. Subscribe to this channel. Next month, I'm going to go on from point 22. Alright, let's get into point 21. Wow. So yeah, I call the Big Bang actually the end of the universe, and not the beginning. And I call it the Great Wall. And actually, we're turned around. Do you get why I call it forward-backward asymptotic model? Because we're not facing the right way. We are facing backward. We're facing the Big Bang and physical matter. But our evolution is into higher strata via involution. That's why I also think it's the Organic Portals apocalypse, because they don't involute. I am the one and only Benjamin Kauenberg, shaman walking crystal, Kaima diastase, which means multi-dimensional wave, from consciousazine.net. Subscribe. Maitreya Christ energy. The man of stone shall only act, he shall listen in silence to the voice of the cold fire and shall act, and his act will express the ultimate spiritual courage. Whatever he does, his act will be founded upon the absolute basis of oneself. Yeah, think for yourself. Don't press the like button if other people press it necessarily. Do not press the like button on videos just because nobody has pressed it. Think for yourself. Did I help you? Well, you should be grateful. It only takes 1 minute, 1 second to press the button. His act will be founded upon the absolute basis of oneself. Beyond, are you a spirited human listening, or are you an organic portal? Please press the like button on my videos. Beyond good and evil, and no judgment or, interesting. And no judgment or punishment coming from the world of deceit will affect him. Yeah, to no degree do they seem to affect me anymore. That's interesting. Neither will any, like, I just laugh at it all because I know, like, I'm not this physical body. Neither will any variation of the great deceit, not even the hot fire of animal passion, could drag him back to the dream of life or the illusion. Wise and brave as a god, the man of stone will fight only if necessary and will wait quietly for the final battle. He will long for the origin and will be moved by the nostalgia for the amort of the goddess. Now we're going to have to look at this amort. Let's have a look. Please, more than 1 kilobyte per second. Everybody's on the internet now. Oh, to death. Huh, okay. He will be moved by the nostalgia for the death of the goddess. He will look for his original partner in the calibration woman. Okay. If he finds her, he will love her with the cold fire of oneself, and she will embrace him with the uncreated light of her eternal spirit, which will be infinite blackness for the created soul. Interesting. Funny how they keep referring to the woman as infinite blackness. No wonder some people think all women are soulless. Not me, but that's interesting. Point 22. On Earth, the spirit had been chained to the man-animal so that its willpower accelerated the evolution of his psychic structure. This enchainment was so strong and so deep was the spirit submerged in the animic nature of the man-animal that, forgetting all about his origin, it believed it was a product of nature and of the powers of matter, that is, a creation of the gods. Yeah, that's the mind wiping. Interesting. All right. So next time we're going to go on from point 23. Please press the like. Whoa, it's been an hour. Come on, I can give you an hour and you can't press a 1 second like button.